Welcome to Talk Purpose and Truth, shifting you into higher consciousness. A show that elevates, uplifts, and encourages listeners to grow, heal, awaken, and evolve. Eden and Kim include bold topics, interviews with inspiring guests, experts, and celebrities, intuitive readings, channeled messages, mental health awareness, and hot topics to expand your awareness. Tune in for unprecedented truth, authenticity, on-purpose discussions, and
ended up channeling a book, and 26-chapter book, and it's profound, and he calls it a Bible. And the information that's coming through, obviously we don't have, just like with any reading, the only way we have proof that it's really that person is to, that they give lots of validation, and it feels like he has given us lots of validation. And we trust that we really are hearing from him. And it's not really about, again, the famous Prince. This is more introspective and divine, information and insight that we're getting, kind of like a Bible. So
we did not call it the Bible. We're calling it Spiritual Confessions from Prince.
Yes, Spiritual Confessions from Prince. So, and we didn't call it that. He named it. He gave us the title. It's not published yet. We have yet to go that step, take that step.
We've had some different offers and opportunities, but we haven't yet felt aligned, and we're looking for an agent or publisher or both to get it to one of the bigger publishers, because his wish is to get this out to the world. And we are just the conduits. We are just the messengers. We are not doing this for any attention, or not even looking for the attention.
No. But what is in the book will help people tremendously. So that is the driving force for the three of us, his spirit and Kim and I. That is why. And it's interesting because when we look back at a lot of the things that I channeled from him, he somewhat predicted what was going to happen, which with us, but also in the world.
Yeah, in the world. I think we've talked about it only a couple times, so I'm just going to give a little teeny other summary from my perspective. I had reached out to Eden because I knew her from high school, not that well, but just knew her like an acquaintance, and we started back and forth. And then I would watch Tyler Henry and was like, I don't do channeling as well as she does in that way, and I would love to do a reading, because I was thinking I would talk to like a past friend or my grandma, and we did a very accurate, amazing reading. And then I booked another reading with her, and that's when Prince came in, and I had been a Prince admirer fan and was really in shock. And Eden was like, "Oh, I've channeled other famous people, and so she didn't really look at it like, she looked at it as amazing, but it was something she does all the time." And so I remember getting off the phone going, "Oh my God, this feels like I'm in a movie. If this is real, show me a sign." And I remember getting in my car and all of the radio stations changing by themselves. And I start looking, and they all changed to different music that was influenced by Prince, or Prince was influenced by them, like Sly and the Family Stone, James Brown. So I was in awe, like, what? Like, this is crazy. And through the time that we were channeling him, which we still do, but I would get things like, all of a sudden a Prince song comes on and 7 white doves fly right above my car. And it happened even when my husband was in the car, when my kids were in the car, things like that, to where you're like, this is not a coincidence. This is just messages that this is confirmation that this is what we're meant to do. And so for a while, like a year, we just channeled back and forth with him, like kind of helping guide him to other levels, as well as him guiding us. He said, you guys have a big assignment. We didn't even know yet we had a book, but he was just like, you're being called to be more awakened and enlightened. So once we finally did get guided to channel the book, and Eden was getting, the channeled messages, and I was helping with the book, both of us were going through and have gone through intense challenges and things that were in need of healing or things we needed to experience to become more enlightened, to relate to more people, to be more non-judgmental, and just to be in a way higher place, completely away from ego.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that's, we finished channeling the book. It's been like 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
But we've had experiences. I feel like I've had the hardest experiences of my life in the last 5.5 years.
I could say the same.
Biggest challenges.
And we're not including, it's not about COVID.
No, I've had the health challenges with the breast implants, but it's been like so many times I thought like I could die. Like I believed I wouldn't, but like it felt like that.
Yeah. And little did we know. I think I've said this to you before, that if I knew, and maybe you could say the same thing, if I knew that we were going to have to be put through what we were put through, in order for us to be ready to put the book out, or worthy of putting the book out, I don't know if I would have wanted to do it.
Right. But it's not just because of the book. It's like our whole life's path, so it would have happened regardless.
No. Yes, it would. Yeah. But to back that up, because I remember he said something, when we say that he said something to us, it's obviously came through in the form of channeling, but he said this, something like, you guys are going to need to learn lessons, something to that effect. So we're like, okay, fine. Not thinking it was going to be these kinds of lessons, but
right. I thought it was going to be more lighthearted lessons, but I think when we'll go into it in a little bit, we're going to be reading you some of the stuff that we channeled that he wrote. When we say he wrote, it means that Eden channeled it. I helped with that. When I say I helped, I get phrases, words. Sometimes I can help interpret what's coming in, or I get messages. So we just kind of like, it helps the process along. And we were just both called to do this. And so it's matched very well. And because of this, we became like total soul sisters, forever. And we're there for each other, which we never would have imagined in high school.
No.
So yeah, it's interesting where life takes you. But when we go into reading this, listen closely, because there's some parts of it that really help you understand why, as a human, we go through things that are challenging. And it helps put it into like a place of like, oh, it's all worth it. Even though at the time, sometimes you're like hanging on by a thread, you know?
Right.
Okay. So, we had a little quick channeled message from a couple of days ago. And so that was interesting. And we had just started deciding that we're going to do this episode about the Prince book. And so Prince's message the other day says, soul clearing and opening into a chance at higher things. Know you're at the level to achieve all you desire. You don't have to work for it anymore and feel relieved the work has been done. Glowing is here. And that's what he likes to call himself, glowing. Save your energy now. Get back to the place of trust where you give me the impossible to do. Let go and trust. Change is coming. Feel your fate by speaking it out loud. And he's not talking about that you don't have to do any work, but it's the letting go of like, okay, you've done a lot. And sometimes you don't want to be desperate or forceful. You just want to let go and go, all right, I'm going to do my part, but I'm going to also let go and see what comes in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, yeah, you read that out loud. It's sometimes when I get the messages, I don't look back at them, but when someone reads it out loud, I'm like, whoa, that was really good. But that's how the book is.
And that's how the book is. The book is very poetic and deeply written, to where I was like, we could never make this up ourselves. It's just written so colorfully. And when we channeled this back then, we didn't even, some of it was like almost too deep for us. And it reminds me a lot of like A Course in Miracles studies. And so a lot of times we would have to kind of look things up. And I feel like I understand it more now because of all we've been through and all the growth we've done.
Mm-hmm.
But just keep that in mind when you, as the listener, are hearing this, that it is, many times when someone passes on, they are able to speak from their higher self, right? Like, how do you explain it, Eden?
When someone transitions, you mean, and then I channel them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they come through from the light is what I call it. Because they're in the light now. I mean, we're all in light, but in a different realm. But they are the spirit of, or their soul is the one that's speaking to us. And sometimes this is a side note, but they bring their karma with them if they didn't clear it when they were here. So they have work to do on the other side. And I think part of Prince's work on the other side is to get this message out, these messages out. And, I'm also hearing that I need to say this, which is there's a lot of other people who do what we do, who also claim that they are talking to him. They're hearing from him. And I know that they've also put books out. So I don't know. It's not for us to say whether it's him or not. But we're just speaking for ourselves. And we're not trying to compare to anybody. I
didn't know there were books out. I thought that it was just cool that I haven't seen them. But
I heard that from a source.
Well, yeah. And I think it also has been, without naming any names at all, but there have been a lot of people that knew Prince well that have done readings and validated, like, oh my gosh, like only he knew that, and have come through that helped us even go, wow, this is so real. And I, in the beginning, was like, this is insane. Like, I'm afraid to even admit this to anyone. And then it became so clear that it was him from so many different signs and validations, and even just the way it's written, that I don't even care anymore. I'm like, this is just what we're being called to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So to us, it's not about comparison or being as good as someone else, or, trying to prove anything to anyone. We're just receiving and sharing.
Yeah. So, okay. So we're going to read this, like just a few. The book is quite long, so we're going to just read you a few of the passages of the book. Okay, so the first section I'm going to read is Prince's disclaimer to the reader. And just know that Eden channels this word for word. And so these are his words. Please do not question me now. This is my real wisdom. I share so much depth with you because I feel that you are deserving to know me, not to hold me up on a pedestal, much like a trophy. As the song by Bob Seger, Against the Wind, says, the years rolled slowly past and I found myself alone. I guess I lost my way. I was living to run and running to live. I was breaking all of the rules that would bend, searching for shelter again and again. I can no longer be seen as a charade. I am me only. Take me as I am. I am finally able to know myself. Endless love to who I am here. Please embrace me now. I ask all of you to give the reaction of only love, my truth. I am to begin a book of my wisdom, this book. I am so proud I'm able to see clearly now. When I can bring you the words I learn here, that is my most pride. I am ending the old fight with myself. I am now to become whole, worthy, and divine. This has been a divine connection of three individuals who are exploring a vivacious universe of soul work, energy flow, and allure, growing into a factual event that takes place on a new plane. My colleagues, my two precious angels on earth, my scribes, they were only in their own unique wild lives of their own when I came and asked them for help. Reluctant and scared, they still trusted me. I am with so much gratitude for what we've accomplished. We did it. Never did we stop from day one. Eden, Kim, my angels on earth, we make more magic together than apart. This work was never graceful, much more painful, in fact, shutting you down in order to open you up. And this part is the part that I feel I've sent it to a lot of people that it's helped them when you're going through challenges. I made large holes proving that you are worthy of being chosen. I stuck you with pins. I twisted your brains. I sculpted you from the inside out. I worked to make this as though we had lost everything. Hyped up excitement down to nothing. The give, the take, the breath and the breaks, the stops, the starts, worth every aching moment. Now we are survivors. We are reborn. We are believers. We can encounter darkness, but we are only light now. I am thankful you never gave up. We are soon to be a wave of new wisdom to share because you both made it through the deepest work you've ever done. Enlightened, empowered, restructured, and curtain up, it's time to own your power and speak the voice you are respected for. I believe in you. You believe in you. Let go of trying to force and adhere to the opinions of others. You belong here. You belong as honored souls to be teachers and conduits to my words. You are with God's hands. It's like, to me, it's still unbelievable every time I read it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It's profound.
I have chills.
I know. And then the people I sent it to like 10 people yesterday because I was like, that's helping me so much with what I'm going through, reading this over and over.
Yeah.
And they were like, this is so helpful. I'm going to print it out. Or what's profound. That's unbelievable. Like, I can't believe that's, a message from him.
Even if it wasn't from him, it's still profound.
Right. Yeah. It's like, it just is profound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. My turn. I'm going to read something.
So this is continuing his disclaimer to the reader.
Okay. We hold you up, the grace of receiving his guidance. This is me, all of me. This I know, and this you know, because I trust you. They will too. Sensational vibrations of only new information. This is an awareness at a height that has never been explored and that no one has ever known. I am taking you there now. It's glorious. We feel the brand new generation of wholeness over the moon and under the bottom of our souls. A new territory that is going to lead all people of all levels to a generation of barbarianism no longer. Instead, there is fullest potential, but beyond evolution. We begin to become a marked difference in the world, driving forces of sunshine through blackness. The way we express ourselves now as a whole world is uncivilized. You hear my voice. I am pleading with every soul to listen. This new clarity is the life source to the world today. A regeneration that will bring everyone to a higher vibration, less hate, more love. It is time to bring all of the world to a new evolution. These are radical changes of enlightenment and social change. The energy is shifting faster now. You are all going to witness a wake up that makes every human put down the fight, and no one will be able to walk away from this, bowing down to God. People are in despair. It is becoming universal. Trust in the power of souls departed. Time is of the essence. Stop the killing. Stop the hate. Stop the false mindfuck. We will amaze you. Open up the eyes of the universe and bring a gaining of a new wisdom for healing, love, past and present. Now we bring in a fight or flight mentality. It's okay. We can heal from there. I need only for you to listen. I am here beyond light. Spiritual Confessions from Prince allows the world to see the connection of all things, and that love is the only solution as we bring heaven to earth. It is freeing and forging through to a level of pages you read in this book I write for you.
Wow.
So that was written, how many years ago? Like 5? At least 4 to 5 years ago, before COVID. Before COVID.
Before COVID, before the war in Ukraine. Yeah. Wow.
He was telling us what was coming, by the way.
It's interesting because it reminds me, I studied the book Oneness, and it reminds me of that. And that book is channeled as well.
Yeah, we have a channeled book here.
Yeah. All right. So we're just going to read a few more and then we'll close out. But I found another part in the beginning of the book that I thought was great to read. All of the stars are in alignment now. I can bring a lot of change to this world. I fought hard to be able to come to this place and scribe my wisdom. I want all people to heal from my words. Please let go of the talent of Prince and instead come to listen to me from a new place, a new appreciation of finding self-discovery by reading my story. There is a high need to make changes. Please give all eyes to this wisdom of all time. This is the grandest gift I have ever given you. It is dancing with a whisper of passion and mind-blowing ideas that you will receive and be forever changed. Give yourself time to put energy into this fabric of prints that is so new, but so much a necessity. Don't cut corners to find the easy way out. Read my book with an open heart, just as I want you to feel open to love in all ways. You must do the work and the study because you are worthy. My love is deeper now than ever before. I cannot ever complain that my life was too short. I am now taking responsibility for my choices. I hope for you to do the same before it's too late. You must clear your calendar. It's a steep hill to climb. You need a lot of energy, but life will become easier because you do the work. It takes time, but the gathering of knowledge is rewarded. I know I wasn't brave enough, but I am willing to be all in now. Will you let me explain? Yeah.
I haven't heard any of this in years.
I know. I was like, wow. I mean, I've skimmed through it, like, but I hadn't like read it, like what we had gotten like for quite a while. So I was like, it's so exact where I am. And I was not there when we first did the book in the same way.
Not at all. No, we've grown so much since we wrote the book or channeled the book. And it just, our lens is different now, where we're able to have a different perspective on it. But it's also like I said, little did we know back then that we were going to go through everything he's saying, collectively, not just us personally, but we did on a personal level, like, whoa. Yeah. But it's nice to be able to look back and realize that we got through a lot of it. We got through some of the hardest days.
Mm-hmm. I still am.
Yes, you are. Okay, so here's another segment, and it's about Michael Jackson, who I also channel sometimes. I actually saw Michael Jackson in spirit, his whole body and his face. It's really interesting. Okay, so here's so it's the chapter that's titled Walking on the Moon, Present Reflections. So this is a reflection of how Prince sees this topic, how he sees it from his perspective in spirit, where he is now. And the book is written that way because sometimes he talks about how he views things from where he is now, and sometimes how he viewed things from being here in the physical.
Yeah.
Okay. So sharing the stage wasn't easy with this superstar. He sang to a tune unlike anyone. He had breath unlike anyone. Michael, we are together now, but the world misses you deeply. I understand his point of view. God gave us both such tremendous gifts, but we couldn't handle them under the spell of our fathers. We share a strong bond today, but we were unkind to one another at the physical level. As for me, I would try to make you feel as if you were below me, but I was so insecure in your presence. I wanted to show off to obscure the view of your talent. Bearing my skin was the only thing I could do to advance higher. I played you out on my guitar, but all you had to do was your smooth moonwalk. Tip your hat and grab yourself. I thought you were over the top. I made fun of you. We built a rivalry, but I was just a child trying to win a popularity contest. We blend here now because there is no more ego. There is just love, appreciation, and loyalty. We stick together to unite the souls on earth. We both know pain, suffering, gagging, and sorrow. We might be in heaven's gate now, but we are at a place to give our wisdom.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And then there's a segment he writes when you talked about, he is talking more about how he felt then. This is one about Purple Rain. He says, making the movie, the stage set with all featured girls in the background and Prince at the front. My desire was to be seen as a leader, and behind me are my girls. I am the power and they are my shadows. The dark part of me made my friend hurt. My nasty girl partner felt like she was in jail. She never got to be in my movie. So he's talking about Vanity. And I thought I was teaching her a lesson. I had gaslighted her, making her question her own reality. a bizarre social warning of my anger. I met my match with her. She told me that I was nothing to her. It rattled me. I thought we would make up, my groovy friend, but by the time movie making started, I was in over my head. I felt my actions were justified. I thought she would get over it. She did not. She would always treat me like a summer lover. I felt passed down and it bruised my ego. Instead of communicating my truth to her, it made me turn away. I was a cross between selfish and neurotic so much that my mind would play tricks beyond control, even though I was controlling everything. So he often talks, the book is really interesting and just like, it's really unique because like Eden said, he will go to where he's seeing the world now from up there, his perspective, and then he'll go into how he felt and what he did during the time. And even some of it's from his childhood, some of it's from marriages, different celebrities he knew. I mean, it's so many different things, but then he goes into advanced perspectives of how he sees the world mixed in.
Yeah. And I'm going to put out the disclaimer that I didn't, half the things that he wrote about, or probably more than that, I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah. Right.
So,
And the disclaimer, another disclaimer is that you can choose to believe this or not believe it. I mean, I'm not worried about who believes it. I'm just putting it out like what we're meant. I'm feeling very called that I'm supposed to be doing this. So I'm happy to put this out and, Eden as well.
Thank you for listening to Talk Purpose and Truth podcast. Find out more at talkpurposeandtruth.com. And follow us at Talk Purpose Truth on Instagram and Facebook.